Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good evening everybody. Welcome to another edition of the AccessToTrader.com weekend update show. That's Monday. That's not the update show of the weekend. It is Monday update show. Again, fast forward to the weekend. Anyway, you can tell it's a long day. Anyway, guys, hopefully everybody's doing okay. If you can do me a favor, be so kind and click that like button, support the channel. Again, hopefully I will do my best to point you in the right direction. So, we talked about last week in the weekend update, right? You kind of saw a personality change somewhere around Tuesday's session. We started to see a lot of headlines, basically from Trump, saying there is a deal on the table. They want to make a deal is close. And all Iran kept on saying was there is no deal on the table. There's nothing close. And there are no negotiations. Again, take both sides from grain of salt. They could be obviously negotiating from in the shadows versus in the media. But for all intents and purposes, that's what you saw all of last week. And the bulls kept on progressing higher, right? That was kind of the most important part of the week. We continued to go higher. And there was a very, very noticeable personality change somewhere around Wednesday going into Thursday session that we started shaking off bad news, or at least news that even a week ago, 2 weeks ago, would have been deemed detrimental to equity prices, right? We saw news coming in on a Wednesday night over Thursday that the deal, or at least any type of negotiations, were stalling out. The NASDAQ gapped down, the S&P and the Dow gapped down, only to go green on the day, right? We saw over the weekend, we saw that there is no deal, right? There absolutely is no deal. Sunday night futures, NASDAQ was down like 150 points. When you woke up this morning, the market was green again. So it's a really, really very important part of what is happening right now, right? Like I said in the weekend update, the move higher doesn't have to be dramatic. We don't need an 800-point intraday rally, but what we do need is to, again, to continue what we saw last week. Continue to brush off the bad news. Continue to brush off any negative headlines. Continue to start getting tone deaf to every single headline that is with Iran. I know it's very, very hard because we're in the middle of a war, right? But from the technical point of view, it's very, very good, right? Incredibly good. Last week, we reclaimed back the 5-day moving average. We reclaimed back the 10-day moving average. And although, again, if you look at the scoreboard today and you have half of a percent move on all the major benchmarks, it doesn't stand out. But what it does stand out are stocks are slowly starting to reclaim past levels. Again, the big thing will be if the Qs eventually get above that 594 level. Again, 594 will reclaim back the 200-day moving average. So if we can continuously brush off more bad news or those news headlines that were hitting the market in the last several weeks, and we reclaim back the 200-day moving average, will be super, super good. So here is kind of the fine points of today, right? We talk about sensitive headlines of the market, right? So Trump came out again in the morning, talked about everything is good, right? Everything is good. They're almost defeated. Everything is great. At 10:30 in the morning, this is my point about us brushing off negative news, right? Trump came out and said everything is progressing well. Iran comes out at roughly 10:30, 10:35 Eastern time, turns around and says, we reject any ceasefire. Okay, that headline right there would have buried the market 700 points 2 weeks ago, like buried the market. And guess what happened? Nothing. And that's the most important part. And then Trump comes out and says, the deadline stands. Okay, Iran has until 8 o'clock tomorrow, or we're going to take them out. That's literally his words. Iran could be taken out tomorrow. There's another ultimatum, the 278th ultimatum for tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Now, does anybody actually believe that this is the final straw, do or die, 8 o'clock? We all know Iran's not backing up. Do we really think that we're going to Bolivia or Iran tomorrow at 8:01 p.m.? Probably not. So from any common sense point of view, from any diplomacy point of view, probably, right? We don't know, right? But probably, you're probably going to see another extension headline as we get close to the 8 o'clock deadline tomorrow. 45 days, 90 days, 120 days. Again, nobody wants to die. Nobody wants to go Hail Mary, hellfire, all guns blazing. So at some point, you will probably see, I have no idea, I'm just speculating, probably see a headline of another extension. Trump has been notorious, whether it was the tariffs, where there was the first 26 ultimatums to fire out an ultimatum, nothing happens, and then extend the diplomacy for them to kind of talk things out and iron things out. So that's kind of what's going to happen tomorrow. The one thing that Trump said today was kind of wild, and this is where you turn around and go, what did he say? He was talking about his good relationship with the North Korean president, and then he added, I mean, you guys saw the headline. Do I have to really say it? He really added that the president of North Korea called Joe Biden some very unflattering names. Let's just call it at that. You guys can Google, and see exactly what he said. But definitely a wild, absolutely wild day for headlines. Again, tomorrow, notably, is going to be the quote-unquote ultimatum deadline for Iran to cease fire or suffer to be annihilated off the map. So we'll see there as well. Some good things definitely happen. We talked about over the weekend update. We talked about some notable strength in the market, some notable weakness in the market, and how the market proceeds. So the market went from red to green overnight. Obviously, we talked about last night on the weekend video, the strength in notable storage, right? Storage and semiconductor names, right? Marvel gapped up to around 111. I couldn't trade. I'm not going to start chasing Marvel. AMD, I cannot believe we didn't have a chance to trade AMD. AMD actually opened around 219, 220. So we missed this pivot, right? This 217.80 level. But somehow it went so fast, I missed the 221.30s pivot. And that damn thing nearly went to 227. If you caught it, congratulations, I missed it. However, I did catch MU. MU continues to be really, really strong. This was last week's highs, this 378 area. A buyer came in. This is very notable, guys. We always talk about the options market setting fire to the equities market, to the underlying security. A buyer came in right below last week's highs of 378. That's why 378 was the pivot, with 7.3 million of premium on the May 1 $400 calls, and MU went absolutely nuts. Apple, you guys remember we talked about Apple over the weekend update? Again, it's not, it wasn't one of those charts that stood out really, really well, but as we talked about in the weekend update, there's channels within channels. That's the whole point. The longer you trade, you start recognizing these channels that you could take advantage of. So you had 256.20, which was last week's highs, and you had 257, which was the 326 highs. They needed to confirm. And Apple did really, really well today, right? Really, really well. So here was the 320, here's the 256.20s area, the high of the last several days, and the high above 257, which is the 326 highs. And the stock exploded all the way up to 262. Now it just needs a close over 262 to reclaim back the 50-day moving average on a close. So Apple, really, really nice job. Congratulations for all you guys who caught Apple. And here's, forget about SanDisk. By the time we looked at SanDisk, it was already 7:30. Here is the one, right? Here is the one. We talked about Tesla, right? We talked about Tesla on the weekend video. A buyer came in this morning. Again, there were some notable buyers came in, but I'm going to give you guys kind of the crib notes, right? Buyers came in. These are all April expiration. This also included the weeklies, right? So we saw weekly buyers come in for the 350 and the 347.50 puts. We saw also buyers come in for the 352.50 puts. Why was that important? Well, that was last week's lows. That confirmed. We saw buyers coming in all series throughout April of the 330 puts, the 325 puts. And again, this kind of stemmed back, right? This kind of stemmed back from last week. Tesla missing its delivery numbers. Okay, somebody came out today. I forgot who it was. They upgraded Tesla. I was like, you do realize the damn thing's about to take out the previous day's low. And in seconds, Tesla went from up $3 pre-market. It took out 359. It took out 352 and traded all the way down to 346. Congratulations for all you guys who caught Tesla. Phenomenal move. Absolutely phenomenal move. So, pretty good stuff. So here's, again, kind of the most important part going into tomorrow. And I'm going to give you guys some ideas, some pivots that I really like. Again, let's keep an eye how the market handles the first part of the day, knowing that there is going to be a potential ultimatum come tomorrow night. Again, like I said, if I'm a betting man, I do believe there will be some sort of extension. I doubt very much Iran is going to totally concede to some sort of ceasefire. They already told, they already expressed their rejection of any type of ceasefire this morning, an hour to the open. So that's going to be very, very important to understand. You're probably going to see a lot of really crazy headlines tomorrow. So expect an uptick of volatility. On the technical side, what we need to see, again, is progression. Like I keep on reiterating, you don't need dramatic 500-point moves. Just keep on price appreciating the other levels. It's very, very important. So today, the Qs got rejected off the 20-day moving average. We need to get a close above 590. If we could get a close 590, 591, then we will test the 594 epic price discovery level, which is the 200-day moving average. That's very, very important. The line in the sand for the downside continues to be the 5-day moving average. But again, we're about 16, 17 points above that. So that's not an imminent area that needs to concern you. So let me give you guys some ideas for tomorrow. Let's start off with Microsoft. I don't know if Microsoft will confirm, but this is starting to set up really, really nicely off the bottom. You guys see this, how tight this is? It's been rejected now, okay? It's been rejected now four times off of the 10-day moving average. That is going to be a very, very important area. If Microsoft can get back above the 10-day moving average and clear out this whole channel here, you have room all the way up to 380, 381. Again, it's not going to be obvious to a lot of people, but again, that's the whole point of trading pivots. You're watching channels within channels. And if you are interested in pivots, guys, all it takes, come hang out for 30 days. The link is below and see if pivots are a right fit for you. Google, let's talk about Google. It's kind of like Microsoft, right? It's not the same. It's starting to price approve a little bit better. Look how close Google is to getting back above the 34 EMA, right? If Google can start getting back above the 34 EMA, then you have room to 303.5, and then any close over 303.5, you have room to the 50-day moving average test. Booking.com, you guys remember the old price line, right? I didn't realize this damn thing even split. Here's kind of where it gets a little bit interesting. I want to kind of watch how it trades tomorrow. Obviously, the last time I looked at Booking.com or Priceline or anything you want to talk about, the last time I saw the stock, it was trading like at $1,800 a share with like 3 shares volume for the day. Obviously exaggerating, but here's kind of what caught my attention. It closed above the 50-day moving average. Again, 50-day moving average, if it could confirm the next day, could be pretty good. So I definitely want to keep an eye on that as well. Micron, I still like above today's highs. We'll watch that as well. And look at NBIS. NBIS, again, in the last couple of days, reclaimed back the 50-day moving average. Keep an eye on this thing. It got rejected off the 326 highs today. If it could start reclaiming back the 326 highs, I think there's a chance it could expand. Again, bulls are doing a really, really nice job. It's all great. It's all fantastic. It's all fine. But always remember, guys, until we get back above the 200-day moving average. Don't start doing the icky shuffle and the dirty bird, right? And the dirty bird before you hit the touchdown. Again, at any point, they can literally pull the rug and everything we talk about of forward progression becomes moot. So again, good job, Bulls, going on to day 4. Let's see if we can extend the rally tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody, and I'll see you all in the field tomorrow.